Now then, people, good afternoon and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I hope you're all well. I've got a little bit of trepidation because the Wi-Fi is not looking too great. I hope it's okay for you folks. The reason it's spooky is because the kids are here, so of course they're using up all the Wi-Fi. It's dropped down to 1 bar. That's not looking good. So let me know if it's all right. Yeah. We've got, I want to know from the chat, is it good? It's looking okay. I think it might be all right. I'm a little bit dubious. Sam Kitchen, big up. Danny Talk, Sport Marcus, Oliver Joe, Diamond Mist, Michael Lyle. All good? Fine. Great stuff. Cool. If it goes dodgy, let me know. Whenever I see the Wi-Fi. No, wait. How do I? It's over there. No. Use can't see. Why can't I do this? It's there. You can't see it anyway, but that's really difficult to do. Wi-Fi on a knife edge, I know. Like probably some of the Leeds United fans. Yeah, good. What's this? Have we got a deal done? Maybe Daniel the Centurion Farker. It's a bit spotty for me. Okay, I apologise. It's best I can do. I don't want to say to the kids, you're going to have to come after Wi-Fi because then I'll have ruption. So it is what it is. Hopefully it's not too difficult, but if you can, smash me a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit that notification bell. We've got loads to get into because obviously Ryan said at the start he's alive. Yeah, I went and enjoyed the actual physical sun today instead of a fake 9-minute blast. So I'm out there, took the dog out for a walk, and then picked up my kids because it's my weekend. And we're going, do you know what? If anyone knows, we're going to Yorkshire Wildlife Park on Sunday. I'm taking them for Father's Day as a treat to myself and them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. As you know, my son's autistic. He loves dinosaurs. So they've got a new place called Pangea. So we're going to go there. So Sunday might be a bit, dead in the water, but I should be back in time for the first Club World Cup game that I'll be doing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So that'll be a great day out for me and the kids. Someone said it's shite. It's shite. Hi, Jaws. The live just started. It has stealth mode. Big up to you. Yeah, it's like a 2 hour, 15-minute drive for me. So we'll set off nice and early Sunday. So looking forward to that. I've got to get my son's haircut tomorrow, which if you have an autistic child, you will know that is very tough. And I've told him the dinosaurs won't let him in unless he gets it cut. We'll see. Someone says potato. Is it bad? Is the Wi-Fi bad? Oh, is it really bad? He likes dinosaurs. He should meet my mother-in-law. Love that. He got me a new cup as well. Look, he gets me a cup every year, but that's really cool, isn't it? Superman's even bald. Superman is even bald. And then that's young Harry there. I did say to his mum, I says, I ain't got buttocks like that, but fair play. Mate, do you know what I mean to my ear? Listen, there's a lot of haters out there. But I don't know. Cracking ass, I know. Tell me about it. This is true, Liam. This is true. Perfect. Same arms as you, Joe. Yeah, man. You know the score. Joe says, I will be bald soon. Comes to us all, man. It comes to us all. Right, listen, we're going to blast through some stories. Lockie should be joining me in a little bit as well, because obviously the Athletic have done like a long piece on Leeds United and the way they're going about the transfer window and the data analysis and stuff. And Lockie obviously works and has worked and been at university and can maybe explain some of the wording within the article a little bit better than what I can. We've already been chatting about it off air. So yeah, he's going to join us. But so what I want to do is just blast through some of the stories. Let's start with the Matteo. No, we'll start with Alex Moreno. Alex Moreno. Let's Good man. Good man. Enjoy. What have I had today? I had no bacon, but it was yesterday. I haven't been eating great. I had a peppermint slice, which was basically just a mint chocolate. Oh, it was peppermint, but it was nice. It was nice. Owen, tell me about it. Do you know what he said last time? He goes, I don't want to be like Dad. I want to be like Mum. Do you know what else is a nightmare? If you know, cutting nails. I have to cut them when he's asleep. And last time I cut him, he said, my precious nails. But yeah, so when he's asleep, I have to cut them. Love the scout report other day, Joe. Stop. Yeah, we won't. We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back next week at some point. Big up to my man Gary Paul. He says, Joe, I have to say this. I personally can't wait for Bijol. Looks like a beast. Passing and tackling looks fantastic. Regards to the pace, can't run through a brick wall. We are only up so levels. Yeah, man. Joe, this is Sunderland. And to be fair, I'm not too far from Beach. See him that way. Sunderland that way. But yeah, they're on roids in Sunderland. Alex Moreno then has been speaking or left a cryptic tweet on Instagram. Basically, when translated, he posted a picture of himself on a train with the caption, when you have a farewell, you don't know what awaits you. So, yeah, basically, he's leaving Aston Villa. He's available for as little as 5 million. We saw yesterday, although not official, but it did get the here we go from Mr. Fabrizio Romano. Let me just find my. I was going to do a live last night, but StreamYard was down. StreamYard went down, which was a bit frustrating. It wouldn't work last night. It was a widespread issue. So, yeah, I was going to do a live late last night, but it was down. But, yes, done deal. Junior Firpol looks a lot younger there, of course, when he was last at Betis. That's done. He's no longer a Leeds United player. He's signed a 3-year deal with them. Leeds United need a left-back. Alex Moreno's available. Toffolo could be available on a free. There's, there's a few options there. How long would it take me? Not long at all, bro. It's about 10, 15-minute drive. No. And do you know what's interesting, Gabajan? And we'll get into the Athletic piece. No, it was actually Graham Smith's piece. He believes Leeds want all their signings in before 7th of July. That's what he said. I know they won't get them all in, but, watch this space. Look, this is one that I've been banging the drum for, Tanganga. Tanganga is available for 1.2 million to a Premier League club. And it says Leeds are to sanction a transfer for Tanganga once the defender gives his approval. This is according to Express Sport. Look, for 1.2 million, you cannot sniff your nose up. And I think, yeah, Tanganga, for me, I've seen someone say it wasn't. Bloody hell. Don't know what's just gone off upstairs. He's coming down. Yes, my bro. Are you okay? You need a what? Can you put me down? What do you need? A pillow. You need. What? Right, okay. Yeah, I'm coming, son. 2 minutes. Oh my God, you can't write this stuff. I don't know if you heard what he said he needs there. But hopefully Lockie can. It's all right, baby. He needs toilet. I'll sort him. Hopefully Lockie can come in. Let me know when you've done, brother. There's a better in League One and League Two. Nah, there isn't. Yeah, you heard it then, Tommy K. Yeah, man, same. Good luck to him. I agree. No. That is a bold shout. Are you done, son? You're going to have to give me 2 secs, man. Are you done? Yeah. Wait then. You need to wipe it. Silly. You can't not wipe it, son. Go upstairs with your sister. I'll be 2 minutes, okay, boss? Sorry about that. Oh, God. Look, mate. Someone said that fell out. It didn't fuck them out, did it? It was... Sorry. Yeah, Kershaw, I know. Right, let's bring in Lockmeister anyway. Sorry, mate. I don't know why you're
All right.
Sorry about that, bro. Honestly, you could not write it. You just ran past and went, I need a poo.
Hey, he's got to go, mate. He's got to go.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he's got to go, hasn't he? Yeah. Yes, I did, Bowie fan. I did. I'm just going through some articles, mate, before we got into the main bit. But talk to me. What's your opinion? Because I've been banging the drum. You sometimes watch the videos. You'll have probably seen me speaking on Tanganga. For 1.2 million, mate, do you think it's a bit of a no-brainer?
Yeah, absolutely. Nah, yeah, I do. We need players in that role.
We need depth, don't we?
100%. I think he was linked today with Palace potentially. He's one of them players. He'll be a reliable player for a lot of Premier League teams. I like him. I thought he was good against us last year as well. Very good. Yeah. He's a good defender.
He got an assist or scored against us, one of them, but he was very good against us for Millwall. Very good.
Yeah, he was. He's a good player, mate. He's a good player. He played in the Prem under Jose. Really liked him as well. For 1.2 million.
Jose, you know.
Yeah. It went off the boil a bit, didn't it? But he seems to have found his kind of mojo again now. Obviously, he's not starting centre back for us, but as an option, it'd be great.
He can play right back as well, Lockie. He played right back with Jose, played right on the free of Millwall, and can play right centre back. Yeah. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I'd like it. I think it'd be a good one. 1.2 million as well. There's, you know what I mean?
Whoever at Millwall agreed to that clause, 1.2 million for a Premier League club is insane, by the way.
Yeah, that's great. Maybe he was like, look, maybe he believed in himself, and he thought, look, I think I can go back to Premier in a few years. So, yeah, I would, 100%. Not just to clarify, not as a this is our starting.
No, of course.
It's an option. It'd be quality. If we're going to get injuries there,
if you go down, Tanganga's your starting centre back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you'd assume so. Yeah. Yeah, for me, I'd like him. I would. There's a few. There's one or two players like that where you look at and go, good options. Yeah. I don't want our core recruitment to be Championship players because we've seen now that doesn't work. But as a few options, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. What do you make to Alex Moreno? I've not had your opinion on Alex Moreno. Forest fans tell me he's whack, but
I actually don't know much about him, mate. I'll be honest. I've not seen him that much. How much was he brought in for a few years ago at Villa?
I remember he was one of what's he called? The manager at Villa. Bloody hell, Emery's first signings, if I remember rightly, mate. Yeah. But then, like I say, Luca Dean kept his place, and then they went and bought who was the guy who was at Burnley from Chelsea? Left back. Mattson.
Oh, Mattson. Yeah.
So he's just not played at all, has he? And then he was on loan at Forest and apparently didn't do too well. So but just because he's not done well there doesn't mean he's not good enough for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've not seen much of him, mate, to be fair. If I have, I've not really looked out for it, if that makes sense. I probably watched him in a game, but not really known. So, I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. I have no idea.
No, that's fair. That's
all right.
Well, we are going to speak about a topic that totally splits opinion, folks. I don't know if this has been spoken about as of yet by other content creators, but I'm going to talk about Matteo Joseph. Now, I know Lockie is probably on the same side of me in terms of he's not ready yet for the Prem, and Leeds United could potentially sell. Now, we were talking previously, or I've said previously, any sale of Matteo Joseph is pure profit, and therefore That's why I think, for me, he's our most sellable asset. Now, I don't know if you've seen, folks, and I think it's quite decent article to look at, and you can sort of understand why the club may look at moving someone like Joseph on. I know this doesn't go down well with a lot of fans, but the way that the PSR FFP works, basically, if you were to sell Matteo Joseph at 8 million, let's say, that then goes on as pure profit. And then if you were to bring in a player and put them on a 5-year contract, that then gets amortized over the next 5 years. So in actual fact, by booking 8 million, you can then in effect reinvest that and spend a further 42.5 million on the back of that. Which is why you could see from the club perspective why he would be deemed a sellable asset. So I'll just try and explain it a little bit better. So finance expert Adam Williams has spoken to Leeds United News about what Joseph's sale really means for PSR. For the purpose of a club's profit and loss account, and by extension PSR, a player's amortized book value is the factor that determines the profit on his sale. So for Joseph, they signed him for 900,000 in 22 on a 3.5-year deal. So the amortization charge was about 260 per year. So that 900 then gets spread out over the length of his contract, which was 3.5 years. Then we extended his deal in January until the summer of 2028. So by my reckoning, the amount that was left would then be spread over the remainder of that contract, meaning on the books is only 130 grand. Right. So anything over that is pure profit. So he basically has next to zero value on the books, right? Then what happens is, so if that sale price is 8.35 million, the profit is going to be 8.45 million or thereabouts, yeah? So significantly for Leeds, that 8.45 million profit hits the books in one go. So when you sell a player, you get it straight away. But when any new signings are made, they can be amortized up to 5 years. So in theory, you could then spend 42.25 million this summer. And because you registered Joseph profit in one go, it would have a net neutral impact on the amortization and PSR calculation. It's not a free hit. You have to pay the wages, whoever you sign, and then you have to amortize the rest of that over the next 4 years, which will eat into your PSR calculations in future seasons. But in this coming season, that money then would be able to be reinvested into, you could argue by selling Joseph, you're able to then buy Bijol and Diarra, and it has no impact. Do you know what I mean? Because you're selling him 8, you amortize, that works in effect as like, I think Dan explained it best. Dan, who we've had on the show before, he said basically by putting that on the books, you can get 2 players at like 25 million and pay their wages. Obviously, it's not quite as much as that. But if you were to say to me, Lockie, this is where I keep coming back to that thing of, would we miss Joseph this coming season? The answer is no, right? However, if you sell him, that 42 million there or thereabouts, give or take a few million here and there, can be used massively for players that are ready here and now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's like, I guess an extreme example I guess you could make is, did Pep really want to sell Palmer? Probably not. They probably wanted him to stay around. But again, all that money that he went for is pure profit, which on the other end of that means they could have brought in a few players, which they did. So it's kind of like that, but on a smaller scale, I guess. And it's we're in a situation now where, and I hate that this is a thing now, by the way. I don't like it at all. No, we have to sell these kind of homegrown kind of players if they're worth value, because of, well, we need to spend money and we need to stay up in the league. And if they're not 100% ready, or they've not shown last season that they are, that kind of puts them on the firing block. And that is Matteo Joseph, obviously. And this is the thing with Mateo. People are very, if you say one bad,
he's very tribalistic with Joseph.
If you say one bad thing about him, or not even just a big critique of him, people then say you hate him. No, like I've always mentioned before I make these points. I made a video 2 years ago about how much I like this player. Before anyone else did, when he was in the under-21s. I like him. I always have. I like his profile. I still think he's got a lot of potential, but I also think he's got a lot to learn. And there's no doubting that he's not developed the way we all thought he would. He started the season. Did he start the first 7 or 8 games?
Yeah, mate. 100%. Yeah.
So he got that trust at the start. So the manager thought that he was ready. The fact is, he wasn't. I thought at the start of the season he showed good signs. He did show at times what he can do, but he didn't consistently show it. And what happened at the middle and the end of the season, although he got less minutes, for me, a lot of other subs that came on impacted the game more and showed that they are willing to develop. He's not developed from the start of the season. And that's a worry. That's what the club are looking at going, if, say, Joseph developed, right, and he was really good and he got loads of goals last year, 100% we're trying to keep him because we need that player. And then maybe we'll be looking at another player to sell on in that bracket, maybe a Strauch or, But he didn't. So from a club perspective, they're looking, look, is he really a valuable asset?
Yeah.
Not really.
And you know what the thing is as well, Lockie? I almost feel this is the perfect time to sell him because let's say we loaned him or we kept him and he doesn't play. His value goes down, bro.
Yeah.
If he loans and stinks up a gaff, let's just say, hypothetically, then where we at? Whereas you can sell him now. He's, for me, if I'm Leeds United, I'm waiting till end at under 21 euros because he's going to bang.
Yeah.
Probably get more for him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we go, right, okay, boom. That then, and look, I'm not saying this because Joseph's a bad player. Betis are interested. Clubs are interested. Of course they are. Strasbourg are interested. We know the Strasbourg model. We know Blueco model at Chelsea. But Leeds United are in a position where if this, and I've said this and I've had debates in group chats that we're a part of, if this is 5 seasons in the future, Leeds are in a position to loan him out and not worry about it. Because of where we're at right now, it makes sense to sell and use that money to buy ready-made players that will keep us up now. That's what you have to do, unfortunately. And this isn't about saying he's a bad player and people will get emotional, say, oh, ultimately, and I agree with you, it's not the right thing. But from a club perspective, for me, Matteo Joseph is sellable asset number 1. We sold Gray last summer. Sellable asset number 1 he was.
Yeah.
They're not going to care too much.
It is. It's like I don't like the old PSR. So I think the fact that a newly promoted team has to sell players to me just stinks. I don't like that. And ideally, in an ideal world, there's none of this stuff, and you can just loan him out, right? There's no problem with that because you don't really care. Yeah, but we have to make that decision now, and you are right. It is frustrating and it is annoying, but that's just the way we are at the moment. And that's what we've got to do, unfortunately.
And it might come back to bite us. He might go on and end up moving from Betis to a Barca or a Real or a fucking City, and we'll go, But ultimately, we might be a stable Premier League club at that point, and that's what it's all about.
It's like for him as well. He might need that move away. That might be what if he stayed at Leeds, he might not play. He needs to play football. So 100%. For him, moving away might be the right option. I've always, it's linked with Spain and stuff. I don't see a problem with him doing what Max Dean did and moving to Belgium. He had a really good start for his injury. Just getting into a team where, an Anderlecht or somewhere like that, a team where he's going to playing European football, and you're in the spotlight, but it's an easier league and you can get your confidence and really find who he is as a football player. Because 100%. There's no doubt about it. I think even the biggest fans of his, and I'm a big fan of his, but even the biggest ones that refuse to criticise him at all, the second half of that season, that was not the player that started it. That was not the player in pre-season. That was not the player the year before against Chelsea. That's a player that needs confidence and he needs to play every minute. And he's not going to get that at Leeds. He just isn't.
Yeah, agreed. I agree with you. And moving on, Bijol conversations going amid. I think it's like 22 million they want, which equates to around about 17 million. Yeah, I mean, we take a lot of notice of what Andrea says. He feels anything over 15, a little bit high. And I think we're going to talk about that data thing in a little bit later on, obviously, when we get to that Athletic article. But when in that Athletic piece, they talk about looking at specifics and, they'll really dial down. And when you look at Bijol and you look at his stats for touches in attacking penalty area and all that, we know Farke's on record as saying we need someone good in that area. Bijol's ticking all them boxes, isn't he? From a data perspective, I assume if you were to go, I don't know, spreadsheet, boom, go down and it's
aerial duels,
centre back, aerial duels won, touches, from attacking corners. Bijol's like hitting all the top bits in here, really, and you could sort of see that. But do you think 17 million is too pricey, or do we just pay it and move on? I mean, I don't think 49ers are in a position where they're going to overpay, right?
Yeah, that's my thing. There's a lot of numbers going around in it, but I think we'll get a good deal at the end. Udinese are holding out a bit, aren't they? Which they're going to do. It's their player. That's what they're going to do. But these guys know what they're doing. I think we'll get a decent deal. I reckon it could be kind of 13, 14 with add-ons, something like that. They creep up if we stay up or something, which is fine. If we stay up, then who cares? An extra few million. So, yeah, but like you said, mate, Andre is the one for this, and he's the one that knows the player. He's watched the player. I've not seen the player, apart from some little clips. But yeah, you're right. And this is where you don't need AI. You don't need all these crazy data models to know that he's good in air and good in box. Yeah, and that's what we need. Exactly. Sometimes it's so simple, recruitment. I'm sure he's got weaknesses to his game. Andre said he's slow. Yeah, I mean that's a problem. But again, trying to find a player that does everything is going to be very hard for us. We need to try and find a player that can improve us in what we're weak at, and that is aerial. We're not good in the air, particularly attacking set pieces. We're terrible. We know that.
Yeah, really bad. Really bad.
And we're not big, are we? We're not a big team. No. How many players do we have over 6 foot? 2?
Exactly. What's he about? 6'4"? 6'4",
6'3", 6'4", yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Which is probably our tallest player, Barmes. So
definitely. Yeah, definitely. I wondered what that frog was, Ryan. I can't lie. I didn't see that on his arm. I thought, what the hell's that? True, Vic. True. There's nothing to say that, as long as his positioning's bang on, it doesn't matter how quick you are, I don't think.
But that's, Andre is a man for that because he's watched him. I haven't. So,
100%. Yeah. I agree with you. I've not had a chance to listen yet to the Inside Ellen Road podcast, but they've spoken about Leeds prioritising specific physical players and talk about Diarra and stuff like that in there. They've done an article on it where he's, where he's spoken specifically on that. I'll have a listen to the podcast before we really get into that. Fellow YouTubers now as well. Who'd have thought it? YouTubers, join the gang. Mate, this keeps coming. One that won't go away. William Goobels, do you think it's BS and just agent talk at this point? Because it was linked last January, I think, weren't it?
His agent's doing a lot of pushing, and he obviously don't want to play in Switzerland. He's probably better than that league, so I get it. But I saw a price the other day.
In Prem, is he really? We can't have that. No.
Yeah, I saw a price the other day, mate, and it was over 15 million, and it's just you're not doing that. No chance.
Okay. Yeah, and finish up. Let's get into this Athletic article then. How Leeds transfer process will work as they look to survive back in the Premier League. Baron Cross has been... this article, I don't want to go through it all, folks. I've had a read through it. Basically, just talks about the recruitment team and what their plans are and how he says how when presenting to prospective players, they show clips of Leeds after they beat Leicester with them 2 late goals. If you remember Archie, well, it wasn't Archie's goal in the end, but I predict a riot. That's the sort of stuff like that, say, a player like Diarra, he's only 21. He probably don't even know Leeds are. And them's the facts, folks. That's what we need to remember. Like, historically, big club, but for a guy that's from Senegal, grown up, he probably hasn't got a clue. Sees that we've been... But if he's like, I want to go to a big club, and you present him with that, then obviously he's like, right, okay, I get it. It also says that they speak or they show clips of the parade just to show how big of a club it is. Why would he speaks then about the people in the positions and what they said. It does go on to say Leeds sources speaking under the condition of anonymity to protect relationship. Like everyone who's spoken for this article, admit the trio anticipate where fingers may be pointed if Farke's side struggled back in the English top flight this season, because Evans, Underwood and Davis, it's like their debut season being the top guys in the club. You know, before we've had Steinson, we've had Kinnear, who are vastly experienced. Steinson's been at Spurs, obviously Leeds and other clubs. Kinnear's been at Arsenal, West Ham, he's now at Everton, Leeds. So it is sort of like a debut season for them all, innit? And they need to make sure it gets right. Otherwise, it'll be chopping block. You know what I mean? They'll be on the chopping block.
100%. And yeah, got to do it, man. It's that important. They've got to be. But you know what? Like, people have got to start somewhere, and this could be it. This could be, it's all right having old eyes on it, but as we're going to see here, it's all changing now. You need you need new minds, fresh people. So
yeah. And it does go on to say as well, like sources at Leeds suggest that 98% of the past 2 years, effectively since relegation, has been spent planning for the Premier League, whether it is finding the right players, establishing what it takes to stay up, set piece maximisation, which is where somewhere like Bijol comes in, right? Or how other promoter clubs survived. And I think that's why we're looking at experience. We're looking at internationals. We're not really dipping down for the championship best or getting glamour signings like your man Orta did. Sources at Leeds say these analysts have left no stone unturned. I mean, they've even got an analyst working on tracking analysis, which is mad, isn't it? Almost feels like we're following a Brentford, we're following a Brighton model, done it a little bit.
Yeah, it's I was talking to you, Joe. We did this at uni a lot. So we trialed a lot of these products a few years ago.
Do you want to talk about that biomechanics stuff? Sorry, I'll read this. It says, which involves a location of movement across a game of football. Leeds are also recruiting people with specialisms in biomechanics, how a person moves when playing football, to be able to do more body-specific analysis.
Yeah.
And what does that mean, broski?
So with biomechanics, and honestly, this stuff, doing it at uni is just, it's horrid. I don't like it. It's not fun. But it is interesting in a way. A lot of biomechanics are used for injury prevention and longevity of career. So it could be, for example, you see at the physio, how a player runs can affect how their foot hits the ground. How does that affect their body? How does that affect injuries, right? It's to do with contact. How do they receive contact? There's loads of little stuff. So when they're jumping, how they're landing, stuff like that. And it's done to analyze a person and a player and understand how that could affect injuries. And so then in order to prevent that, how they could change. It's again, there's loads of stuff like how heavy is their upper body compared to their lower body. So when they land or when they go into a tackle, how much pressure is on certain joints. It's honestly, it's crazy how deep it goes in stuff like that. But a lot of that is down to how to prevent injury, how to make the career longer. It's not really used as a key metric in recruitment. It might be looked at as something that if they do sign them, this is something we need to look at. But it's not, they're not going to look at a list of players and go, yeah, but his biomechanics showed this. That's not necessarily something that happened. A lot of them come through game-oriented situations, technical, tactical, physical and all that. So there's a short of it, basically.
Yeah, 100%. Look, but the data is not the only side of the equation. So it goes on to speak about how the process of recruitment works at Leeds United. So it does say we've been pursuing transfers since April, and in that time a clear process for the summer has emerged. Sources say it begins with the data team, scouts and coaches, mainly Farke, each putting names forward. The data team's suggestions are then assessed by the scouts and vice versa. So at least people are going out and viewing these players in person to ensure everyone proposed gets analysed. For example, Evans may ask an analyst to find every left back in the world with a defined set of characteristics which the data shows can work in the Premier League. This is where I keep coming back to Bijol. Surely they go, find every centre-back that's great in the air. Right, these are 5. So then it'll say, those traits would obviously generate a long list of names, and the club scout might then knock that down to 20 for a video review. Every player eventually put to Farke as a possible signing will already have data and scouting report compiled. You'll have been in, maybe not to this level, but I'd love to sit in on a meeting and see these presentations that they put up and say, right, here's player one, and it'd be insane, man.
So the paragraph above was talking about KPI, which key performance indicators. So they can be, what are key performance indicators of the league? And again, this is about looking at statistical data and finding out which players do well in that league. For example, League Two, you've got to be a physical guy. It's a lot about mentality, transition speed, stuff like that. Whereas the Premier League, it's more complex. And then you've got KPIs of the manager, what the manager needs, and marrying them to find that perfect player. Basically, that's kind of what that side of it is. Those are the characteristics they're talking about. And like every left back in the world with a defined set of characteristics. These could be anything, whatever the manager needs, but also how that marries up to the Premier League. And that's where you come to a decision, basically. But the point being here, and what's really important, this is what people need to realise, the scouting bit there, that's what I've done. When they're watching, scouts are not looking at games going, ridiculous stuff like measuring the amount of height he jumped after a thing. They're looking at the game from what they know and what they've been told and analyze it themselves. Because there's always this thing that AI and data does everything. It doesn't. There's always going to be a big process, or I think there always should be a big process from the person. Because at the end of the day, you're a human and you're watching another human. And that's the most important thing. How do they react to certain things? How do they do certain things? It's a good combination. And I like that we're doing that. Data is important. It is. But as Beren stated there's still a hell of a lot of work being done by scouts. 100%.
It goes on to say, as per Farke's own suggestion, so he might put players forward, they're all given a deep dive because of his importance in the overall process. Leeds sources have been at pains to point out no player is forced on the manager, and neither does he force one on the club. Every signing must have an agreement from scouts, managers, strategy planning, and finance. If one of them boxes is not ticked, the player concerned is not signed.
That's
agreed. Yeah. And then they speak about what happens next. So it says Underwood approaches agents, players, and their clubs to establish whether a deal can be done. If he hears positive noises on a target, the club dig deeper on him with Farke, while Underwood and Davis make their pitches to agent. Beyond those Leicester videos, those presentations aim to show the club have done their homework on a player with analysis of where they'll fit on the pitch, but also how their lives and their families' lives will look off the field if they come to Leeds. And this is a huge thing. And the reason I want to talk on this quickly, Florian Wirtz signed for Liverpool because of this. He said it was in an article done by, what's he called? Athletic guy, David Ornstein. It was in an article that when he went to Bayern, that basically your man company did not have they just showed him around, etc. When he went to Liverpool, Arne Slot, this is where you'll play. This is where you'll fit in. This is what we want from you. Yeah. This is what Bielsa was so great at. Yeah. So it shows you that this stuff can tip it in the balance. 100%. Because Wirtz went for Liverpool over Bayern because of the presentation he was given by Slot.
Players are people, Joe. They're people. Yeah. And when deep down they want to go somewhere, of course the money matters, but assuming that's not a problem for any club, then we're going to meet your wages. Okay, now what? You've got a decision to make. They're people. When you go to a job or you're going to an interview, you want to feel welcome, you want to feel loved, you want to feel important, and they're exactly the same. They want to feel somewhere where, look, their family might be, like you said, their family will be moving there, they'll be living there. They want to feel warm and welcome, and that is something that is really important. And that's why, if you do have players as well that, like for example, a Joseph, if he said he wanted to leave, you can't necessarily be the type of team that says, now you're staying. There's a risk in that, because then other players might go, I think the perfect example for what Leeds can show to any player coming in is Raphinha. We brought him in. Look, when he wanted to go, all we said, keep us in the league, do your thing, play as well as you can, put in hard work. End of the season, you can go wherever you want. Went to Barcelona, in line for the Ballon d'Or, played for Brazil. That's a great example of how, as a club, we can be. But it is important. It's important for anyone. You want to feel welcome in a place, 100%. So that's something that, as a club, I'm sure we'll be doing and working hard on as well. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Anyone can If you just have a quick Google, you'll see that that's won the battle with so it is so important. And like you said, mate, they're people, right? They want to know where they're going to be. And
I just want to say as well, Joe, this is what's a bit frustrating at times about, it's slightly different, but people sort of online or coaches or even analysts, anyone, they look at players as if they have the same brain as them. So if you're a coach, you're trying to use these crazy terms to speak to a player. The player probably doesn't have a clue what you're talking about. They're not educated in that way. They're educated to play, not to be a coach. Some will, but not all will. So this is why it's always important to just be honest and simple with a player. What do you want me to do? What will I be doing? As opposed to giving them this crazy thing, you'll be here. Just be honest with them. What do you want? You're the main man. You're a player. We want you to do this. Because they're not coaches, they're people.
Yeah. And this is quite interesting you mentioned that, because it says if the process continues, a call from Farke to the players, one of the latter hurdles to clear. Senior sources say the German is always honest in those conversations. If they are nailed on to be starters, should they sign, they are told that. But if they are likely to begin their career on the bench and have to overthrow existing players to get in the team, he does not lie. And if the player does not like what they hear, Leeds move on. I love that, man, that he's saying, listen, if you come in, and that's probably why we didn't get Carvalho that year. Do you remember Carvalho went Hull City instead?
Yeah.
But I would rather that than a lad coming in just expecting he's going to be number one. Now, if he's of sufficient quality, then he's right to expect that. And Farke will say, you're coming in to be my number 9. But if you're going to sit on the bench, you should be told that, right?
100%. If you lie to a player or try and say what you need to get it over the line, that will come back to bite you. When that player's expectations are, I'm going to play every week, and you're not playing, you think that player's going to be happy when they've got other big clubs that want them? They'll be fuming. It's their career. This is what I look. Everyone's different. I think it's really important to be honest. What do I expect you to do? How long will this take? What do I think? And it's down for you as the player. If the manager said, "Look, you start on the bench, but the player really wants this club," prove him wrong. So, all right, go to training, turn up. You won't be on the bench for long. You'll be playing.
100%. It goes on to say, club sources have also said there'll be a clear similarity between the names on Leeds' shortlist for each position. For example, every striker will have a similar set of attributes. The same with every left back or goalkeeper. They have a clear vision. And that's key. You can see that with the strikers that we've been linked to, Rodrigo Muniz, Beto, they're all physical specimens, aren't they? They can hold up the ball well. They battle with, you can see what kind of profile of striker that Leeds United are going after this window,
Yeah, and the club I was at last year, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but so I'll just say that. But it will nowhere lower than this level. But even there, there's still data. There's still loads of data you can get your hands on. There was like a ranking, so once you put the name in this kind of algorithm, and it shows you how high on the ranking they sit in terms of all the stats combined. It makes a percentage. But one of the main things, and this was a no-brainer, if they were below 6 foot down the spine, didn't look at them. Really? Or if you did, the first thing you put in the report, this player is da-da-da height, and that instantly takes it away. Because it was in the League 2, the team really needed big physical players. And although smaller guys can be physical, it's less guarantee. So that was always something that we were told in all the KPIs, the performance indicators. The first one has to be above 6 foot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mad. Yeah. Mad. How you think that you would maybe turn that away because of, he's a couple of inches under, but
as a small guy, I was very offended by
that. It does go on to say that we won't have any silly clauses like we did last time, and they'll be able to say to any player coming in anxious about joining a side at risk of relegation, which we will be to prospective, players before the season starts. They'll use Calvin Phillips and Rafinha as examples of where they were allowed to leave. And then it also says, look, if that's not enough, then we will have to put release clauses in there. So anyone who was bought for 20 million, they'll be allowed to leave for 25, 30 if someone bids that, which is standard practice. It's them loan release clauses that they won't put in. But I think Ramsey's got a 20, 25 million pound release clause from Southampton. they're going to stick that in there. It's a no-brainer from a player perspective. And then it says this, mate. Leeds know they need to have as many new faces as possible in the building for the start of pre-season, which is July the 7th. The window opens in 3 days. So, you know, do you expect we're going to see? I do. I think it's going to go boom, 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 boom. Wouldn't surprise me if they've got them all ready to go for first, you know?
Yeah, I think from what Barry said at the end there as well, that's probably just, again, from a manager perspective as well. He probably wants them in. I said, I want them there. Training starts now. The Premier League season starts now. So, because we all know, don't we, mate, this is going to be so hard. Everyone in that recruitment team there, all them data, by whatever it is, they've got to get it right. The manager's got to get it right. The players have got to get it right. The ownership have got to get it right. And even then, it's still going to be difficult. So training and setting that standard as a day one is so important. So I hope we get most in as early as possible. The main ones, maybe the experienced guys, maybe some later on in the window that are a little more less experienced. But I hope so. But hey, I'm excited, Joe. I don't know. I imagine you are as well.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
Great, isn't it?
Involved.
Not been linked to like Champo players.
100%. Edward, this was an opinion piece done by Joe Donahue. This isn't factual. If you read the article that Joe did, it was a case. It finished. This is my opinion. It was an opinion piece. The majority of clubs will wait until the 1st of July, but that isn't necessarily 100% true. Let's say, for example, Strasbourg accepted the £22 million bid and Diarra said, yeah, I'll sign for you. That deal will be done. We wouldn't wait. Or you can still have deals done. We've seen Newcastle sign a player, we've seen Villa sign a player, but they won't be announced until they say, we have signed this player. It will be official from the 1st. Yeah. So, again, we can. We're in a good place from a PSR perspective. It's just, it would make more sense for the club until July. Yeah. Because it helps the books. Do you know what I mean? That's why.
And as you said there, Joe, as well, they start training on the 7th of July. So even if we did do that, it's fine because they don't start training for another 6 days. So we could do that anyway. You know, it wouldn't affect when they come to training. So, yeah, all that PSR stuff's confusing, but just bring some players and let's go, you know.
I think sometimes people read and then it's like, oh, God, that's it. And it's like, no, we can still get deals done and will if we can. Yeah, exactly. Like if Tanganga says tomorrow, yeah, I'll come to you. We're not going to say, well, you're going to have to wait. We get that deal done. You know what I mean? It's 1.2 million. Yeah, it's great, Mark. It's great. It's great to have someone like Lockie in this space. It is. It's great. Yeah, well, that's all the latest news covered in today. I did see some craziness with Douglas Luiz, folks, and someone mentioned it in the chat. There is not a cat in hell's chance he's coming to Leeds United. I'll tell you that much. He just signed for Juventus for 60 million last summer, and his contract will be insane.
He was wanted by City as well.
Yeah,
last year. So, no chance. No
chance.
Let's stop. Let's stop with all that.
Yeah, it's a bit mad. Some of the prospective signings are a bit mad, and it is what it is. But yeah, look, I'm happy with how it's moving right now, man. It's going to be exciting, isn't it, bro? It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, well, that I read there, that excites me. That does excite me because coming from a scouting perspective, there's a lot of stuff recently about replacing scouts with AI and data. Data is a tool. And it should always be that. And we can use it more, but you need people to watch the players. It's crazy if that's not the case. So use the scouts. They're very good. A lot of them are very good. They know what they're doing. They've watched a lot of football. And use AI as a tool to help. That's my opinion on that.
I would break the bank just to see at Leeds ladies. I've watched them a few times. I can tell you, I reckon the attendance would go up tenfold if she rocked up. But hey, it is what it is. She is a beautiful woman. But yeah, I think that's it. Is there anything on the channel that's popping? We've got a scouting report hopefully coming at some point next week. But
I don't know, mate. I've not loaded in 3 days, so I need to get on some. I'll probably do another video. I don't know what position. Give me a position to do, Joe, and I'll do it next. I'll start it tomorrow.
Okay. It's a difficult one. We need nines, man. We need
striker. Oh no, what have you done?
That's
so hard. All right. Challenge accepted.
We'll see. On a serious note, do we have to spend big? I don't even think it. I do think we will spend a lot, but it's about spending smart for me. We've got to spend smart.
Smart. Every player that we bring in needs a purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything will come down to recruitment. Leeds United stay up, we got recruitment bang on. If we go down, we got recruitment wrong. 100%. Yeah. I'm just looking at what Brentford are doing at the minute and slowly rubbing my hands because now that numpty, what's he called?
Keith Andrews. Yeah, I'm not going to criticise them, mate. I don't know. I've told you. We've mentioned they know what they're doing. Them lot. Maybe they get it wrong, but
Keith Andrews and Parker. Bloody hell, it's not looking good, bro.
Hey. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm just worried about us. That's what I'll say. We need to get it right.
Just want to shout out Mark. Mark, if you are watching this, because your son's brought your iPad, big up to you, Mark. We'll check in with you. Hopefully you are watching this. You are seeing this. I hope everything goes well. If you're in for an operation or for stents or anything like that, I hope everything goes well, brother. Thank you for watching. And I know everyone in the chat will be sending love. So get well soon, Mark. Get well soon. There you go. He's watching from the Isle of Man. You're lucky to be in that place. So big up to you, Dean G, and Mr. Mark G. Get an account so you can put your send in the comments, brother. Right. Yeah. Send love to us. To Mark, sorry, not to us. We will be there anyway. Lockie, thanks for coming on, mate. Giving up some of your time. I'm gonna go. Did you start the Mobland yet?
No, I'll probably start it. I've been working I've got a new job coaching, mate. So I've been.
I love that.
Kids as well, young teens and 15-year-olds. So you know what that's like.
Yeah. Hard work, mate.
I will start eventually.
Yeah, so I'm already 5 episodes deep. It's fucking great.
It is good.
Genuinely great, man. It is great. So give it a watch if you haven't already. A lot of love for Mark in the chat. And 18th, you are right, mate. Just 5 days' time, we will find out who will be our first game. I can't wait. I was just looking for Man United straight out of the gate, man. Come on.
It's going to be, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's gonna be
I'll be live. I'll be live from about 8:30 on the 18th, waiting for the fixtures to come on the 9 a.m. I think it is, folks. So a lot of love for Mobland, a lot of love for Mark, a lot of love for Lockie. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you in a bit. Peace out, folks.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.